You ever feel like you're not good enough? You ever feel like you're always beating yourself up in your head? I'm Dom Jackson, David A. Media, and this is the 7 Day Scoop Show, my weekly show where I document my career decisions that I'm making. If you're a venture trying to pursue, I use my stories and my ventures to help motivate and teach you. Now, my quest to get my van with Car Keys Express, still out here in Houston. Look at all the vans we got out here. Crazy. But, one of the big things that Haim realized this week was turning down a lot of the chatter in my head. Most of the time when, sales is such an energy-based thing and the way we do it is such a in-person, face-to-face thing, is a transfer of energy, so you gotta be in a good high energetic state to make sure you can get the job done. But a lot of the time in your head, in my head, you kind of hear your own negative thoughts, like you kind of fall into the abyss, the nose zone, I like to call, where everything that like you ever was upset about or mad about kind of pops in your head and it's like, oh man, I suck, or this, or that. And, that's gonna happen no matter what, to be honest. And, the better I get at dealing with that, the better I get at dealing with sales, which is an interesting concept that happened this week. So this is some of the things that I went through this week to get better, and some of the things I did to counteract some of the negative, no zone, dark abyss, whatever you want to call it, moments in my head. This week the van finished at 1,500 out of 2,000 points, so we didn't hit the goal this week. But I did better personally. I got a 460 out of the 500 goal that I'm trying to start hitting now. So, with that, I caught myself a lot of times, even like when I was getting out of bed, being like, oh man, my life sucks, I'm the worst, da-da-da. Just like random things just to make me upset. Remember in third grade when you did this? Anything I could to like keep myself out of doing it. And the thing that I think I labeled it now, that feeling, that moment, is just like the comfortability of staying where you are. When you're trying to not get out of bed in the morning and you're like, I don't want to start the day, I want to sleep in right now, this feels so good. Even though it doesn't feel good post, because you're like, oh, whatever I had to do, I'm late to or whatever. But the biggest thing with what I found catching myself and getting myself out of it was that a lot of time it's like the path that's easier. So you just kind of feed yourself this like negative thing because it's easier to just sit there and sulk over a feeling you don't even want to feel, as opposed to go out and putting out the energy to take on the challenge of the day that you want. So that was one of the big things that I kept catching myself in the middle of the day, like, hey, like get back to it, like, no. And the more my like, no, snap back to it mentality came back, the more I was present in the moment and was able to do my job and get the sales done. So that was a good insight, that figuring out how to snap yourself out of it and having different techniques to snap yourself out of being in like that messed up place. One of the best ones helped me with sales for myself and just life in general. Some other big things that I learned this week, we cutting with some of the machines. There's different ways to do it, but we got a master technician out here that's really showing me the ropes and a lot of things. And one of the machines, he just showed me a very simple way of calibrating it, and it was crazy because I already knew how to do it, but the way he did it and showed it like made me better without me having to really get like new information. But that just shows like the level of skill set someone who really knows what they're doing has, because they can get you to learn at a level of something you already knew. But it's interesting because it made me think like, how many things do I know but like not know at the level someone else knows, Another thing that we really worked on this week, he was enforcing us, making sure we write down everything as clearly as possible. Because we write down invoices, which is another thing that's very simple, but really making sure that I put the effort into putting the penmanship of what we're writing down to as important as possible, and like make sure every single letter makes sense and things are spelled out correctly. To have the habit that in case someone new is reading it, they can understand it as clearly as a vet would. And that was another thing that was very simple, that like, okay, cool, like I'll write it down more clearly, I'll write things out. You know what I'm saying? But little things like that tend to the smaller details that add up to the bigger picture. It's like, okay, I'm being more present, I'm putting more intention into making sure I'm writing this out clearly this entire time. And then like, because I'm more present in that, I'm more present in other things throughout the day. So there might be little moments in time where you need to be a lot more present on what you're doing, but you just are not doing it because like you're in that negative space. So really what it's coming down to, I'm seeing now, the more I'm present inside the actual day, whether it be how I'm writing things down, while I'm programming a key, when I'm in a sale, when I'm even when I'm eating probably, the more I'm present, the more I'm like trying to find the little things inside the big thing that I'm doing. And that keeps you in a better place because you're here instead of being in your head. And trying not to be in your head is the game. The next biggest thing that I was doing this week, I ended up breaking down all different types of key pitches that we sell. So not the individual cars, but like we have different setups where we sell the keys. So we have the actual service and we do it the same day. Then we have like a release one where we'll give you a key and then we service it later. We have another one where we mail a key to your house. You bring that one key back and we service it later. Those are the three main things that we do. And this week, along with tracking how many of them I did, like sold, I also tracked how many of them individually I sold. So let's say I did, 3 releases, 3 mail-in ones, and 2 regular ones. I have the actual numbers, but looking at it, I just saw like, oh snap, I had 122 regular opportunities to sell a key that day, but I only sold 200. And now my new thing on confidence, I watched a video talking about what the confidence measure is of like, what chance of this happening? And, your confidence summed up is if an opportunity shows up, what is the percentage level of you turning that opportunity into what the result you want it to be is? I think that's the best way to describe it from my own perspective, because like if I had 122 opportunities, but only 22 of them actually converted to things that aligned with my goal, how do I up my confidence so that the confidence of the people who are, betting on me to get this van have that happen more? So how many opportunities are you seeing? And then what is your confidence measure of turning those things you see into what you want them to be? Which is like, I think it's like something that's already there, but to be able to make it and turn it into its own, putting it out into a sentence and like really thinking about it in that perspective, being able to mold like a thing that's like a random occurrence into what you want it to be is like the real confidence of like making your life your life. So super grateful, super cool there. Working on tracking things. The next step for me to do as well is like adding new inputs to get the output that I want. So, the daily practice pitching is one thing, but now I have a new goal of making sure I do at least 30 pitches with someone else. So like just practice with someone else. Hey, I got to find somebody to work with today that's in the business as well. Then I'm going back to doing the daily listenings. Like, hey, I'm gonna listen to one pitch a day. Like, okay, how did I sound at 11:30 today? What did I sound like? So recording that, I said this, and this, my pitch, my pace, my tone. And then the last thing is calling one person a week who's doing very well. So they have like our leaderboards where they show us who's crushing it. And I'm just gonna talk to one person a week and get that done. So now I'm like adding little habits for myself to increase my sales and then seeing which one of them end up working the best. But overall, as long as you're more present in what you're trying to go for, you'll find a way to get there. As always, take it one step at a time and get there day by day.